In this video, I'm going to make the case that the earliest you can possibly go on the job market as an ABD grad student is when you have 2 polished chapters of your dissertation in the can and the approval and support of your advisor. Hi, I'm Tom Mullaney, and this is First Gen Professor, where we talk about navigating an academic career. Why 2 chapters? Why not 1? And why not the entire dissertation, 5, 6 chapters? Well, let's start with why 2 is the minimum. And this connects to a piece of the job search process that frankly no one knows exists until they confront it for the first time. This is the informal aspect of a job search in which the search committee can email you or sometimes call you, although that's rare, and request more materials or more readings based on your research. So of course you have the original application requirements. When a call for a new position goes out, they tell you they need a CV, a cover letter, writing sample, letters of recommendation, whatever it is. Those are the formal dimensions of a job application. But if the committee at the college or the university is interested in you, they reserve the right to get in touch with you in a kind of informal capacity before any interviews and say, we're really interested in what you've sent us. Could you send us more? And what they're always referring to in these cases, I guess with some exceptions, is that they want to see more of your writing, more of your research, another chapter of your dissertation. Well, here is the key. If you take a week to respond, then the committee on the other side is going to know, ooh, this person is really interesting, but is not ready to take up a position because, look, we asked for another chapter of their dissertation and they disappeared for a while and then sent us something 1 week later. That tells me that they don't really have that much writing beyond what they showed us, and so therefore it's premature for this person to be a serious candidate for this position. Because remember, you have to think from the perspective of the university or the college as well. They do not want to offer a position or get really far down the line with a candidate only to discover that that candidate is not in a position to finish their dissertation by the time the job starts, because that would be basically a deal breaker. So they have this amazing application, they've got 1 writing sample, they've got a CV and letters of rec, and they think, this person looks really interesting. Let me check and make sure how far along they are in the dissertation. Hey, search chair, could you get in touch with the candidate and see if they can send us something more? Okay, now compare that to they write to you and they ask you to see more writing or another piece of writing, and you respond within 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. I mean, maybe you're having lunch. But that is a totally different message that you are sending to the search committee. That message is, sure, no problem. Oh, you liked the first, chapter I gave you? Here's another one that is equally polished. They receive that message, they open up the attachment, they send it to the other search committee members, they read that writing sample, and they think, oh yeah, this is as good as the other one, this is even better than the other one. Now the impression that they have in their mind is, this person is far along, this person, at least with respect to the question, are they going to finish in time, is a sure thing. Let's consider inviting this person to the first round interview. So you see the difference. If you hesitate and actually need time because you're not ready to share another piece of writing, basically that is an application killer. You're not gonna kind of get any further if you delay for many days or a week to send that other writing sample because of the message it sends. But if you send that second writing sample and it's good and it's polished the way that the first one was, chances are they are not going to ask you for a third. They're not going to say, oh, that second one was great. Can you send us a third? Oh, that third one was great. Can you send us a fourth? Because they have other things to do and because they don't want to play with your emotions, or at least the ethical search committees out there don't want to play with your emotions. The next thing that they're going to do is decide to invite you to a first round interview if you're going to make that cut. They're not going to ask for more things before they make that decision. So that's why the number 2 is really the magic number. You need more than 1. But in my experience, you don't need 3 or more. Now, of course, if you have 3 or 4 or 5, or if you have a complete dissertation, then of course that is better than having 2 chapters. The more polished chapters you have, the better. But what I'm talking about is this particular informal mechanism in the job search process where the committee can ask you to see more before they decide whether or not to invite you for an interview. Now, why doesn't this same rule apply to other elements of your application, say course syllabi? Well, to put this really bluntly, you can fake course syllabi. You can pull an all-nighter if you need to and put together a course that is, on the face of it, robust and interesting and compelling for a committee. You can fake a good course syllabus. You cannot fake a solid chapter based upon your original dissertation research. That's not possible. So I'm not advising that you pull all-nighters and that you have to put yourself in a position to just barely eke by, but, kind of on your behalf and rooting for you. What I'm telling you is that the critical element is the writing samples in this particular case, because the writing samples are not ones that you can hurry up and produce more of. But pretty much everything else in the application portfolio can be fudged. Now, this brings us to the second thing that I have identified, in my opinion, as essential when it comes to the question, what is the earliest I can apply for a job? And this is, you have to have your advisor's blessing and support. Now, I'm assuming you have a good relationship with your advisor. Nothing has broken that relationship. I'm just talking about a normal, functioning, healthy mentor-advisee, advisor-advisee relationship. What I'm urging you is, do not make any kinds of assumptions that, oh yeah, I can apply whenever I damn well please and my advisor just has to go along with me. They have to. It's my prerogative. That's not technically true. It is actually the advisor's job to coach you, to advise you when they feel you are ready and will have a snowball's chance in hell of getting an offer from a place that you want to teach or a place where you want to work. They also are the ones that are going to write one of the most substantive letters of recommendation for you. And keep in mind and get out of your own kind of ego hall of mirrors here. And remember, you are not the only advisee of that advisor. And he or she has a reputation that they need to maintain. And so just because you come to them and say, I'm going to apply to this job, damn it, and you've got to write a letter for me, that places them in a really awkward position if they don't feel you are ready. Because either they're going to be honest in their letter and kind of give you a lukewarm letter, or they're going to have to lie in their letter. Either way, this is not a good scenario. Either they tell the truth in order to maintain their own reputation with search committees, and they do need to maintain their reputation with search committees because they have other students that they need to write for. And if search committees start thinking to themselves, oh, this professor over here basically gives everyone an A+++++, we can't really take seriously anything they write because everything is exaggeration, then that's going to damage everybody who works with that professor. So they have to be very careful with their letter of recommendation reputation. So if they decide to be honest, well, that's the end of your chance for a job, because hell, if the person's advisor isn't singing their praises, then this is really a non-starter. But then if they do lie or fib or exaggerate on your behalf, they risk not only their reputation, but also yours. Because let's say you get a first round interview, or let's say you get a campus interview and you show up and you're not ready. Well, that doesn't help you. It actually might hurt you in the long run, certainly with that particular institution and anyone who bears witness to it, but no one is served by jumping into the pool before one is, more or less ready to swim. So if you are early in the process, but you have really good dynamism, your dissertation is shaping up well, make sure that you have early and frequent conversations with your advisor about their expectations and your hopes when it comes to the job market. Do not make any assumptions. Do not be presumptuous about their obligation to write you a letter whenever you tell them to. They are not under that obligation. If you found this useful, please give it a like, please share it on social media, and why not subscribe to the channel? There are lots of videos like this that show, at least in my experience, how one can navigate an academic career in a way that is as rewarding and also as honest as possible. I'll see you next time.